So, contrary to popular belief, I'm not dead. However, I do know I've been a tiny bit absent, and it's not for lack of trying. I have been working on my car. The only problem is I've not really finished anything on my car. You may remember the Jaguar that I was working on last time. Well, that Jaguar ideally was meant to go away in November of last year, and then it kind of dragged on, and usually I like to take my car off the road to start my project in November of each year. However, that Jag didn't go away until May, and I didn't start my car until June, the time when I normally finish it. So everything was starting at the beginning of summer, and I was thinking that I would get it done within maybe a month, which was wildly optimistic looking back, and then still get some of the summer. And if you look around, you will notice the car is looking a little different. These are not Lotus wheels. There's nothing else that you can really see in this shot, I don't think, to tell you what I've been up to, other than these nice support pylons back there for an Exige style body kit, because pretty much everything I've been doing this year has been body related and suspension related. And also brake. Okay, there's been a couple of things I've been busy with this year. The plan originally for last winter was to solve all of the problems that the extra power was causing. Most of them were just drivability things. For instance, if you were giving it a bit of power in second gear, you change up into third. Unless you were very gentle bringing the clutch up and very slow to get back on the throttle, the wheels spun. If you were giving it a bit of throttle in third and you changed up to fourth and you weren't very careful on the clutch and very gentle getting back on the throttle, the wheels spun. So we fixed that by some wider rubber. Now that one's a little bit controversial because you get a lot of people that maintain that no matter how much power you've got in one of these chassis, you don't need wider rubber. And you know what, there are quite a lot of cars out there actually racing with standard sized Exige tyres and they're fine. But they're on very, very grippy tyres, which, I mean, I'm out on the road, I want options. So we've gone a little bit wider. By a little bit wider, I mean we've gone from 225 to 295, so we've gone a good bit wider. And we've got to 225 on the front, just so it's not too imbalanced. There's quite a few people running that setup, it seems to work for them. I'm not going to lie, I'm copying them a little bit. We're also having some issues with the brakes. By that I mean, it's 400 odd horsepower, and while the brakes are fine for the most part, there are those times where the car picks up speed a lot faster than it does before, and they struggle to bleed off the speed when you're a bit more up there, as opposed to braking from 50. So we've gone for bigger brakes, we've gone for wider tyres, the suspension is just Nitron Street Series, nothing fancy, but an upgrade over the Bilsteins I had before. The other big change is the bodywork. See, with these wider tyres, we need the bodywork to match, and this Lotus is going to become a little bit of a chunky boy. And that's where most of the drag came about. See, I started the bodywork in July, having finished the front brakes in June. Originally the plan was to get the brakes done, post a video about that, get the bodywork half done, post a video about that, finish the bodywork, post a video about that, get on the road for a few months of summer, and then this winter I could pull the engine out, build an engine, mostly for reliability as opposed to any massive power gain, and then next winter the new engine would be in, it would be mapped, blah 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 blah. That's not quite what happened. July I started the bodywork, got the front clam more or less done. However, the front clam I was starting with had already actually been widened. It was done by someone else who's got a 5-cylinder Audi engine in his, which really is an example of how to properly do one of these projects with an actual budget and a bit more expertise maybe. But he had done a widened body set for his. However, my clam was more of a quick one. You see, he'd sold the moulds and then he needed to get a copy of the clam before they went in case he needed it in future. And I knew all this, like I knew that it had all been laid up in a rush with whatever scraps were about, brushed down, etc, etc. So I was prepared to deal with a lot of air bubbles. And there were a lot of air bubbles, so that did slow things down by a good chunk. The main issue being that every time I thought I'd got them all, I'd find another one, you start digging that out, there's a big air channel running through it, so you dig all that out, you fill it with filler, you start sanding it back. And honestly, I didn't get it to a point I was very happy with. So I kept on going. Same with the rear. The rear was actual just Exige panels, or Motorsport body panels, which I was whitening myself. And every time I got it to a point where I was almost happy, because there were a few points where I was almost happy, I was almost thinking, right, we're gonna spray this now, there were setbacks. As well as we got drawn out a little more by the fact that this main garage that you usually see me work in, there used to be a spray booth next to that when I was a lot younger. We took it down ages ago, but we were building a new one so that we could get back to spraying and body work somewhere that was not outside and not in the nice garage. That never really got done because my dad had to go overseas to work for like 2 months, so that never happened. So I done basically all of the body work in a polytunnel. If you've never seen a polytunnel, it's a big greenhouse made out of polythene in summer. Now Scottish summer doesn't sound like much of a thing. Like outdoors, I think the highest temperature we hit was 28 degrees, which is mental up here. Like 28 degrees, the street signs were melting, people were dying in the road, thousands of pets lost. And don't get me wrong, the sunburn. We don't want to talk about the sunburn. But when you're in a plastic tent, 28 degrees becomes a bit closer to 40, and it's disgusting to work in, it's horrific, and there's no lighting out there, so once the light goes away you can't really do much. And there's so much sanding. I have zero real experience. In fact, you know what? See, when it comes to making body kits, zero experience. Wide arches, zero experience. Sanding a little bit of filler, done once or twice. This stuff, zero experience. So it was a long slog, and all of that slowed it down. And then by the time I was almost happy with the bodywork, I still had no real solution for what I was doing with the back brakes. The main reason I never posted a brakes video was because I filmed a bunch of stuff for the front brakes, assuming that the back brakes would be sorted at the same time. I did have calipers and all that I was going to use, but then I ran into issues, couldn't get them to fit or work. So then I had to come up with another way of dealing with it, which took X amount of time. And then I had brake lines to make up, and there was just all of this stuff built up to the point where I didn't have enough footage to complete a video, and all of the stuff I had filmed was setting up me finishing all this other stuff, which I wasn't able to do. And I hate releasing anything unfinished, it just annoys me. So, I mean, that is something I'm probably going to have to change. I don't know if in future I'll do things as less of a start, middle, end in one video, and more of a here's what I've done so far, assuming that I maybe won't have a full ending for it while I'm filming it, because then I don't find myself in these positions. So I have now actually finished all that. All the brakes and the mechanical stuff I need to do to this car is finished. Finished it last week, filmed it all. I'm in the middle of editing that into an actual video, so that should be coming soon. The bodywork, however, I got to a point where I had to admit that I was really just rushing to get a bit of the summer. And rushing and bodywork, they don't go together. So I took a break round about middle of August. In fact, no, early August. I kind of went, I'm missing out on the entire summer. The reality of a lotusless summer had set in. I was already unhappy about that. But pretty much any day it was sunny, I was just taking all my bodywork outside and working on my car. If it rained, bodywork went inside, I worked on my car. If it snowed, which doesn't happen in summer up here, don't let anyone lie to you. Maybe up Glencoe, but down Glasgow, it's actually alright in summer. Any weather, I was out working on my car. So I was kind of missing the summer there. And I started to, well, by the time I actually lost any notion of finishing it for summer, there wasn't really much motivation. I wasn't happy with where the bodywork was. And I decided I've got a little bit of sun left, I'm going to go out and I'm going to play Mario Kart. Or if I'm not going to play Mario Kart, I'm going to play my motorbike. And also, there's only so many sunny days that you can turn around to your girlfriend and say, let's not go to the beach. This is the perfect weather to sand my car. Or let's not go out for food. This is the perfect weather to sand my car. Or who needs to go and see people? This is the perfect weather to sand my car. So, you know, there were some other responsibilities that had to be taken care of. And I took a break from the car, which sometimes you need to do. Sometimes projects kind of pile up, you just need a break, you need to just stop trying to force things to finish on a timeline and finish them when they're done. Works out better that way. Generally speaking, things will look much better if you devote the time that they need to have to them, as opposed to just getting them done as fast as you can. However, I'm back working on the car now. It's over here at the side because all the mechanical stuff is done, and right now there is a non-Lotus on the lift, which you will actually be seeing very soon. That's another project that's going on in the garage, and some of you will find it a lot more interesting than this thing, because, well, it turns out Lotuses are a niche market. Porsches with engine swaps, maybe less of a niche market. So I am still alive. There should be a video coming out of all the mechanical stuff soon, followed by bodywork stuff, because that new spray boothy bodywork garage is almost finished. It really just needs insulation and lights. So I guess I could start working in there now, but I'm going to wait until there's insulation and lights because it's October now and it's starting to get pretty chilly. I'm going to look more into how I want to set videos up in future. I reckon I'll probably go for something that's a bit more open-ended as opposed to start, middle, end. But that kind of falls into the trap of becoming almost a little bit vloggy. And I don't know, that's a lot more of me talking and sitting in front of the camera, and that might put people to sleep. And that's like the #1 rule of what you don't want to do in here. So I don't know if they'd lose a bit of the technicality and become a bit more, I don't know. I don't really know. If that's something folk would be interested in, then I'll give that a go. And it means that we don't have these massive breaks between videos. But other than that, that's all that's really been happening here. Still alive, still working on the car, videos coming soon, new project coming up. Yeah, tune in next time. Subscribe for more. Not more of this, more of that. Actual interesting things.